I would like to take some time to review a few things about clay. Take a look at your clay. Leave it in the bag for now. You might notice this bag of clay has a damp paper towel in it. This is to help keep the clay moist. This air-dry clay dries out super fast, so if you're not using the clay, make sure to keep it in the bag. Only have a small portion of clay out of the bag at a time. This will help preserve your clay. This is air-dry clay. It dries with do-do-do-do, air, boom. No kiln or firing needed. Sweet! Once your clay dries, you will paint it with acrylic paint. You might be used to the type of clay that is fired in the kiln and is glazed. This is the type when you get the shiny result. Air-dry clay looks and feels the same as natural clay when it's wet. However, when it dries, the acrylic finish will give your clay a matte finish. The first technique that I'm going to show you is slip and score. We're going to attach one piece of clay to another piece of clay. For this portion, I would like you to just watch. Later, you will have an opportunity to try the technique for yourself. First, I'm going to make something to attach to my tile. You cannot take a piece of clay like this and attach it to here and just expect it to stick. You have to do something in order for it to stick. So what you need to do is score the back. Scoring is taking a sharp object. We are going to use skewers like this one in this class. And you're going to roughen up the surface that you want to attach. The goal of this is to have little particles of clay sticking up. Can you see there's little particles sticking up? Then you need to roughen up the area on the project where you want to add the clay. So that's the scoring part. The next part is the slip. So what you're going to do is use water as an adhesive or a glue. You're going to dip your finger in the water and just put a little bit of water on your creation. The next thing you're going to do is lightly press the two pieces of clay you want to attach together and then wiggle it around to make sure it's on there real good. And I've accidentally scored beyond the fish, so I'm going to smooth out the clay around the fish with my tool. Now that my fish is attached, I'm going to add some scales and details to it. Right now I'm creating bubbles and I'm not exactly sure where I want them to be placed. So before you slip and score, play around with placement and save the slipping and scoring for the very end. Use water to smooth out the edges, but be careful. If you use too much water, your clay will become really sticky. But no worries, it'll dry out pretty quick. All right, I think I have placement, so time to slip and score. I scored the back. Now I'm going to check placement. All right, that's where I want to glue it down. Now I'm going to score my tile. I'm going to use the tools to help get the shape that I want. My tile is starting to lose shape, so I'm going to use my desk and my hands to help bring back the shape of the tile. I'm adding finishing touches and textures to my tile. And I'm going to use water to smooth out any bumps that I want to get rid of. And that's a wrap. Ready to try it for yourself? Let's get started. Pull your clay out of the plastic bag. Unwrap the paper towel off of your clay. And split your clay in half. One half we will use to practice techniques, and the other half will stay nice and cozy in your sealed plastic Ziploc bag wrapped around its favorite damp paper towel. Squeeze the air out of the bag and close that bag tight. We are going to practice a few techniques that will help you gain control of the clay and help you become familiar with the medium. Take some time to squeeze and feel the clay beneath your fingers. The first technique we're going to do is coil. Split the clay in half again. Start with a small ball of clay. Step 2. Roll a long snake of clay using both hands in a back and forth motion. Try and distribute the weight of your fingers evenly to get an even snake. The goal is to make the coil as even as possible. Even if you need to crush your coil and start again, that is totally fine. Feel the clay. Where it feels thicker, press harder with your fingers and avoid giving pressure to the areas that feel thin. Once you have a good coil, roll the coil by bending it into itself. The second technique is pinch pot. You're going to now combine the clay you split for the coil and begin by rolling your clay into a ball. Once you have a ball, step 2, push your thumb firmly into the center of the clay until it gets close to the bottom, but does not go all the way through. Step 3, to make the pot bigger, put your thumb back into the opening and use your other fingers to pinch the sides. Turn the pinch pot until the sides and the bottom are the thickness of a cookie. Yum! Approximately a ½ inch. Again, the goal is to create a pinch pot that is even on all sides. Remember, we're trying to gain control of the medium. That's why we're practicing these techniques. If your pinch pot has small or large cracks in it, dip your fingers in water and gently add water to the areas that are cracking. Now be careful not to add too much water or your clay will become super duper sticky. The third technique is a slab, and we are going to create a 3 by 3 inch or a 4 by 4 inch slab tile, and it will be approximately a ½ inch thick as a cookie. Now remember, air dry clay is brittle. If your creation is too thin, when it dries, it'll most likely crack. Okay, so now what I want you to do is grab the rest of your clay in the Ziploc bag, unwrap the damp paper towel, split that clay in half, and put half back in the plastic bag so you have 1/4 that is staying in the bag and 3/4 you will be working with to create a slab tile. So for a slab, you're going to create a ball. You're going to place it on the table and press it flat. Flip the clay over and press on the reverse side. You may need to repeat step 2 and 3 a few times. Since we are trying to create a slab tile, I'm going to use the table to help even out the edge of my tile. I'm also going to use these awesome ceramic tools to help me create a tile. We're going to do this old school without any type of roller. You can do it! I'm going to use this tool to help with the shape of the tile. I'm pressing the tool on the outside edge of the tile. Flip the tile over again so you can work on the back side. You might want to use the tool along the edges again. Use your fingers to help even out the edges. Wet your fingers with the water to also help smooth out the texture and the edges. Flip over again and repeat. When you are finished, you may crush your tile and combine all of your clay. Wrap your clay around the damp paper towel and place it back in the plastic bag. Squeeze all of the air out of your plastic bag. Make sure you seal the plastic bag nice and tight so your clay does not dry out.